is in custody. I'm joined by Barry Donadio, former Secret Service agent. We were just speaking, Barry, in the last hour. Thanks for joining us. Your reaction to what you've heard from Donald Trump?
I was on BBC only an hour ago, and my initial analysis was correct. They were very close to catching this individual, and I suspected they already knew who it may be. Looks like I was right, and the story, at least being reported right now, is that apparently the father of the suspect participated in turning him into the FBI. I applaud this parent. It's not something I would wish on any father to have to do, but he did the right thing, and this is a time right now that all parents right now across the world need to have a conversation with their young children or their children that are in their 20s or even their 30s to have a talk and teach them this is not the route to go. No matter what your belief is, violence is never the right way to go.
And in terms of how police might have tracked him down, you were telling us about some of the evidence that the police, the authorities already had. Just remind us what they clearly knew already.
Well, okay, the suspect left a lot of evidence. You know, there is a rifle. There's a picture out there of a rifle. So with that rifle, obviously, there's DNA, palm prints, fingerprints on that. So it's only a matter of time right there. They also have him on video leaving the scene. And if you watch the surveillance video, which I assume is from college police or college security, they were watching him as he was leaving. He's lucky he didn't get caught right there in the initial moments because they were watching him, panning the camera as he was escaping from that roof. He took a large leap from a two-story building, probably hurt himself on the way out, which he acquired a terrible limp after that. So that slowed him down. But I just think initially they didn't get the police units over to him quick enough to confront him when he was leaving. He was very, very lucky to not get caught. But there was just such a trail of DNA, such a trail of video surveillance evidence, which was starting to lead to him. And I would say even without the father turning him in, which prompted this to go much quicker, but even if the father didn't turn him in, I'm pretty certain they were just about to get him anyway.
Can I just ask you to clarify something for me? The fact that Donald Trump is making these statements, the US president, the most powerful person in the country, does that have any prejudicial effect on a fair trial if it comes to that?
You know, that's a decision for the courts to decide. I think because the president, this seems to be a personal friend of the president of the United States, I think the president wants to have a fair trial. The last thing that he would want is for a murderer to get off on a technicality of some sort. So I would think the president would stay very far away from any trial and let the court do what it needs to do. And again, it is in the hands of the courts, but I don't think the president is going to remain silent. You know, if we lost a loved one to this horrible scenario, we would be very vocal as well.
Okay. And in terms of the information, we're obviously just clarifying what we know about how the authorities did track down the suspect in the end, and Trump telling Fox News that someone very close to the suspect turns him in. And he's talking about a person of faith, a minister, and also a father and son. So Trump is clarifying that namely the father got involved and said we've got to go in, and they drove to the police headquarters and he's there now. But we will just try and clarify exactly what the president has said. Some have asked why it's taken so long for any suspect to be found. Are you surprised? I mean, given the level of video camera footage that was available, given the fact that the US has huge surveillance and security on the streets?
Yeah, like I said, he was almost caught literally within 2 minutes of it happening on his escape. They just simply didn't get a police car quick enough to confront him while the camera was following him and he left campus. That's my take on that. I think he evaded capture because he was probably hiding somewhere, maybe in his bedroom, and never left. And that might be why the father keyed into some bizarre behaviors, or the father might have seen photos of his son being put out there. And again, we have to applaud the father. This isn't a decision I don't want any father to have to make. He had to do this. It was the right decision to make. Just like any other parent, they have to fall on the side of the law. I'm sure the father loves his son, but there has to be law and authority, and the father did the right thing. He should be praised for what he did. Tough decision and tough scenario to be